morning, Prairie Trace Hawks. I'm Nicholas from Miss Hutchinson's class.
And I'm Maya from Mrs. Leatherman's class, and welcome to this edition of WPTE.
What an amazing week we've had.
I know, I'm sad the snow's gone, but I really enjoyed it.
Hey, you want to hear a joke?
Sure, I love jokes.
Why did the orange lose a race?
I don't know.
Because it ran out of juice. All that talk of food is making me hungry. What's for lunch today?
Today's hot lunch is chicken tenders and biscuit.
Sounds so good. Maya, is anyone celebrating a birthday at Prairie Trace today?
Yes, today's birthdays are Nadine DeWood and Tomlin Smith.
Happy birthday! Go down to the office to claim your birthday treats.
Next up is John with weather. What can we expect this weekend?
Hello, WPTE. This is John from Mrs. Davis's class, and welcome to this edition of weather. On Friday, we will have a high of 40 degrees and a low of 39. There's a 10% chance of rain. I hope it doesn't rain. On Saturday, we will have a high of 38 and a low of 23. There is a 35% chance of rain. On Sunday, there is a high of 23 and a low of 7. Also a 20% chance of snow. I'll be out there this weekend. Well, looks like a rainy weekend. That's it for this edition of weather. Now back to the studio.
Thanks, John. It looks like it will be very chilly.
Next up, we have Lena with sports.
Hey, I'm Lena from Miss KT's class. Today, we're talking sports. Today, we're talking sports. Today, we're talking sports. Sorry if I'm bad at football, but first up, we have IU's men's basketball team versus Ohio State. I bet my family will be watching that one. We also have IU track. Wishing them good luck. Finally, we have Purdue wrestling. I just know Mrs. Dragic is going to have to watch this one. But for now, we're off to the studio with Nicholas and Maya.
Good luck to all our Indiana teams.
Next up, we have Sarah and Vivi with Did You Know? I wonder what new fun facts we'll learn.
Hi, this is Vivi from Miss Hutchinson's class.
And I'm Sarah from Mrs. Davis's class.
And welcome to this edition of Did You Know? Sarah, did you know a cloud weighs 1,000,000 tons?
That's so cool, but did you know that the Mona Lisa has no eyebrows?
Wow, but did you know that there's a jellyfish that can live forever?
No, I didn't, but did you know that the world's longest concert lasted 453 hours?
No, I didn't. But did you know that sharks don't have 8 bones?
No, I didn't, but Vivi, did you know that it's time to go back to the studio?
No, I didn't, but now I do.
Now back to the studio with Maya and Nicholas.
That's a lot of new stuff I learned.
Do you like meeting pets?
Of course I do.
Well, next up we have Jack with Pets on the Prairie.
Hello, I'm Jack from Mrs. KT's class, and welcome to this edition of Pets on the Prairie with Mrs. Black. Mrs. Black, what's your pet's name?
This is my cat, Fitz.
Can they do any tricks?
He actually can drive my car when no one's looking, but we've never seen it, so crazy trick. But other than that, no.
What are some funny stories they've done?
He actually loves going on walks on his leash outside, so we go on walks like dogs. So that's pretty funny.
Thank you so much, Mrs. Black, for being here today. Thank you so much, Mrs. Black, for being here with us today. Now back to the studio with my Nicholas.
Thanks, Jack B and Miss Black.
Miss Black's cat is so cute. Next up, we have Jack W. talking about our leadership skills and word of the week. Think about what our leadership skill is this month.
Hello, I'm Jack from Mrs. Peasley's class, and welcome to this edition of Leadership. Our leadership skill of the month is problem solving. Turn and talk to a neighbor and discuss what you think problem solving means. Problem solving is to solve a problem responsibly or come up with a solution to an issue. If I use problem solving in a sentence correctly, I want you to stand up. If I use it incorrectly, I want you to sit down. I problem solved by hitting my brother when he took my toy. You should be sitting. I problem solved by going over the problems I got wrong on my test with my parents when I got home from school. You should be standing. This week's skill is inspire. Inspire is to do something with the urge, is to fill someone with the urge to do something. Let's clap the syllables out. Inspire. That's all for leadership. Hope you enjoyed. And back to the studio with Nicholas and Maya.
Thanks, Jack W. Now I'll work hard to be a problem solver.
Now we have Jamil with Teacher Feature. I wonder who he's interviewing.
Hello, Prairie Trace Hawks. This is Jamil from Mrs. Leatherman's class, and today I'm interviewing Mrs. Cup. Hello, Mrs. Cup. Do you mind if I ask you a few questions?
No, go right ahead.
What's your favorite color?
My favorite color, I change my mind a lot on it, but right now my favorite color has to be dark green or pink.
That's a good one. If you weren't a teacher, what would you have been?
So when I was growing up, I never really knew what I wanted to do, but I knew that I really liked baking, so I thought it would be a really cool job if I wasn't a teacher, if I could own my own bakery and make a bunch of good little treats and give it out to people.
Interesting. How do you spend your summer breaks?
Summer breaks, I usually like to try to go somewhere, so we always try to take a quick little mini vacation, and me and my fiance John will go hiking. We like to try to go to different places. One of our goals is to try to see all 50 states, so we're ticking them off one by one every summer.
Yeah, that's real cool. Okay, last question. Are there any embarrassing teaching moments you're willing to share? What are they?
That's a good question. So, something embarrassing. One would probably have to be, I was going to teach something, and I think it was math, and I was starting to teach the lesson, and we got about halfway through it, and before the end of the lesson, some of the kids were a little confused when they got to their On My Own pages, and when we realized we had actually taught the wrong lesson that day. So we had to kind of scrap it and start over and redo, but the kids still did really well. So that probably was a little embarrassing.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being here, Miss Cup. Before we head back to the studio, let's check out some pictures of Miss Cup to get to know her even better.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jamil and Miss Cup.
Next, let's check out the SD puzzle for this week.
Hello, I'm Easton from Mrs. Peasley's class, and welcome to this edition of SD Puzzle. Next, you will try to guess how many beads there are, which includes what is the total number of beads, which is the beads you can see and the beads you cannot see. After each clue, you'll see if your estimate is still a possibility. After each clue, if it is no longer possible, write down a new estimate. I'm warning you, it is hard. As the clues appears, use the information to narrow the possibilities to a smaller set. After each clue, use estimation again to determine which of the remaining answers is the most reasonable. Write down your first estimate. Clue 1, the answer is less than 25. Clue 2, there is a 2 on the card. Count by 2s and cross off those numbers. Clue 3, the answer is not 1, 11, or 21. Clue 4, the answer does not include the digit 7.
After seeing the clues, you have narrowed down the possibilities to a small set of numbers. Before you see the final answer, select your final estimate. Drum roll, please. The final answer is 19 beads. Well, that's all for this edition of SD Puzzle. Now back to the studio with Maya and Nicholas.
I love those puzzles.
Before Group 2 signs off for the last time, we have a few announcements from around the building.
This is from the Media Center. Students in 2nd to 5th grade, make sure to turn in your books in on time to have a chance to win tickets to see the Dogman movie. Contest begins January 14th and ends on January 28th. Winners will be announced on January 29th. Good luck and bring those books back on time after you enjoy reading them.
Another announcement from the Media Center. 4th graders created book emojis to help PTE students find new books to read. Can you figure out what book they are showing from the Media Center? Be on the lookout for more of these hanging up around the building to see if you can find a new book to read.
I'm Nicholas.
And I'm Maya. We will end with the National Anthem Leadership Pledge in a moment of silence. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the prairie.
I pledge as a Prairie Trace elementary leader to have a positive attitude each day. I will make good choices even when no one is looking. I will demonstrate leadership skills to make myself and my school an amazing place.